the stage. I'm sorry. I ain't even on stage yet, but I apologize. My fault. But I'm in effect now. So, what up, everybody? What's going on with you tonight? How y'all feel out there in YouTube land? I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling really good. Liking what I'm seeing. The NBA season. Definitely digging what I'm seeing. About the NBA season. So I can't really say that I had a problem with what's going on. I'm liking it. Definitely liking what's going on. Got some people filing in here, which is dope. Yep. Got some people filing in. That's dope. Come through. Definitely. We're going to talk about who's impressed this season. And there's going to be some names that I think are going to shock people. Because there's guys where, we expect guys, right? There's certain guys we expect to just be good. We expect Jason Tatum to be awesome this season. We expect Joker. We expect Steph Curry to be really good this season, right? Those are the guys that we expect to be good. We expect Joel Embiid to do what he's doing. These guys aren't guys that I don't look at, or these aren't guys that I look at and go, wow, I'm impressed with what Jason Tatum is doing. I expected this from Jason Tatum. What Joker is doing. I expected this from Joker. Right? I expected this from Joker. Steph Curry at 35 years old. There is a level of expectation for certain older guys. Curry still is in his prime. Curry is still in his prime. So since Curry's still in his prime, this what he's doing. I'm not going to say that I'm not impressed, because I am. I'm not going to say that I'm not impressed, because I am impressed. But I expect Curry to still be awesome. I just do. I expect Curry to still be super nice, because he's still in his prime. But there are guys who they kind of came out of nowhere. They were just guys that we weren't really talking about, that we should start paying more attention to. Definitely should start paying more attention to these guys, and even guys that we were paying attention to, that we should be paying more attention to. One of those guys is my guy, RJ Barrett. I'm a big time RJ Barrett fan. I dig RJ Barrett. I thought RJ Barrett was one of the cornerstones of the Knicks. He had improved. He had improved each season. Last season, he had started slow, but then, I believe the last maybe 70 or so games, he averaged 22 a game. He started slow. This season right now, he's averaging 22 a game, and he's becoming if you involve him in the offense the way he needs to be involved in the offense, he's just so much better. And what do I mean when I say if you involve him in the offense the way he needs to be involved in the offense? In transition, he's actually a really good stop and pop player. Damn good stop and pop player in transition. On the right side of the floor, just a catch and go guy. On the right side of the floor, he's really good at that. He's a really good one-on-one player. That's, of course, if you involve him more. Right? If you involve him more, then you'll see a different aspect in RJ Barrett. But he's playing with a ball dominant guy, so that kind of hampers his game a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not going to go as far as to say that it is I'm not going to go as far as to say that it destroys his game, but it hampers his game a little bit. Cam Thomas is at the top of my list of guys that I'm the most impressed with. And the reason I feel like that is because I already felt like Cam Thomas was being underutilized in Brooklyn. But the fact that now him clearly being the best scorer on that Brooklyn team and his ability to score is more impressive to me because he's actually getting an opportunity. And I was trying to figure out what the holdup was with it. Why wasn't he getting more opportunities to play? Because the guy can clearly go. No question about that. He could go, right? So if he can go, why isn't he more involved in the offense? Well, it turns out now he is. Now you've gotten him more involved in the offense. And it's paid dividends for Brooklyn because they're in games at the end of games. He's just a young guy that's still trying to figure it out, but it's obvious that he can score. It's clear that he can score. Let me tackle a couple of these super chats really quickly, and I'm going to get right back to you guys. Darko says, in your opinion, what position in the NBA currently is the hardest to crack top 5 in? Well, let's see. I don't think the 5 position isn't the most difficult because with Joker, Embiid, Bam, Rudy, when you think about the 5 position, I don't think the 5 position is that hard to crack because a lot of those guys, they aren't looked upon like scorers are, like the 2 guard spot or like the point guard spot with Curry, let's see, Fox, Murray, Luka, Trae Young, Kyrie Irving, guys like that. That position is pretty hard to crack. You gotta do something pretty special if you crack in the top 5 at the point guard spot. You gotta do something really special if you crack in the top 5 in the point guard spot because those are the guys that's handling the basketball. And if you look at what the point guard has done in recent years, he's the guy that's shooting a lot. Also distributing, i.e. Trae Young, right? I.e. Trae Young, but guys like Halliburton, Luka Doncic, guys like that. Like I said, when I think about when I think about the point guard spot, that might be the toughest spot to crack. The point guard spot with the small forward spot, with the small forward spot, like right behind that. I got another super chat here from Christopher D. Said, "What are your thoughts on LeBron comments saying he'd have the same career without the Heat coach? Also, what are your thoughts on ESPN's top 25 under 25? I didn't see ESPN's top 25 under 25, but his career would be the same without Heat culture? No, it wouldn't. He would not have done. We would not look at him today had he stayed in Cleveland. No, we would not. I completely disagree with that. Cleveland was not serious about winning. Cleveland was not serious about James. They didn't know what they had. They looked at James like a guy who's just going to get us in the playoffs, get us to the championship. And the crews that they were building around him, they weren't serious about winning. Getting him Shaq 2 years too late. It was obvious the Shaq was over, right? It was obvious the Shaq was over. Anton Jameson in year 12, Mo Williams. Like these were the kind of crews that they were building around James, as opposed to when he came back to Cleveland, how much more serious they were. So I do not believe that he would have been the same. I would be looking at him the same. To give you an idea, when they won the NBA championship for the second time in back-to-back seasons in the 12-13 season, when he had won the NBA championship for the second time, he had also been the league MVP for the fourth time in 5 years and won the NBA championship for the second straight for the second straight year, Finals MVP in back-to-back seasons, I wasn't even interested in having a GOAT conversation about him. I wasn't interested in that at all. And the reason why I wasn't interested in that at all, because I didn't feel like he had gotten to that space yet. Had he stayed in Cleveland, and had he stayed in Cleveland, there was no accountability in Cleveland. They would have kept doing things the way that they were doing them. And I'm not sure if he would have ever even won there. It had to be when he came back there, when he found out that, they were serious. When he found out that they were serious, because he wanted to come back home and proved that they were serious, which I think is dope. But I don't think that they would be. I don't think we would be talking about him had he not left Cleveland. So the top 25 under 25, I haven't seen it yet, and I would like to see that. But the guys that have impressed me this season, Cam Thomas, the bucket getter that he is. I said it last season. I thought he was wasting away in Brooklyn. He wasn't playing at all. Jaden McDaniels. I think that we're going to have a serious conversation at the end of this season. I think we're going to have a serious conversation at the end of this season where he ranks amongst perimeter defenders. Because Alex Caruso, I think, is one of the best on-ball defenders in the game. I'm not sure I can name 5 on-ball defenders better than Alex Caruso. I'm president of the Drew Holiday fan club. I still think he's the best perimeter defender in the game, right? I still think he's the best perimeter defender in the game. Not only him, Ben Simmons also as a defender, he's really impressed me. But Jaden McDaniels, he looks like he could be a generational perimeter defender. His ability to beat guys to spots, how smart he is in terms of guessing where guys are going to be. And I mentioned this earlier, that he seems to watch tape and watch a lot of film. So he knows guys' tendencies. I watched Jason Tatum have to settle for the long ball last night against Jay, because he could not get around Jay. The only way he could get around Jaden McDaniels is when there was a breakdown in the defense. It was hard to do that. It was definitely hard to do that. So I'm not shy about talking about Jaden McDaniels as one of the best perimeter defenders, if not the best, arguably the best perimeter defender in the game. And Oz, you are on some nonsense with this Luka would cook McDaniels. No, he wouldn't. No, he would not. Not like you think he would. Don't get me wrong. There's nobody in the game, right? There's nobody in the game, I think, that's an elite scorer that can be stopped. But what these defenders do, Herb Jones, Alex Caruso, Marcus Smart, Mikal Bridges, Ben Simmons, guys like that. What they do is they make it difficult on you, right? That's what they do more than anything. They make it difficult on you to score. And that's the idea, limiting a guy's touches, throwing a guy off balance. So when I watch a guy like Jason Tatum, who doesn't give up any size to Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels is 6'9". Jason Tatum, 6'9". So it's not like Jason Tatum is going up against a 6'6" guy or a 6'5" guy. He's going up against a 6'9" guy. And the matchup is pretty even in terms of defense. One of the best scorers in the game against one of the best scorers in the game against one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. So with that being said, I'm impressed with what I saw from Jaden McDaniels in making it tough on Jason Tatum. And he makes it tough on a lot of guys. So a guy like Luka, there's no way that I'm thinking to myself, what's up, Jose? There's no way that I'm thinking to myself, Luka would destroy him. Well, number one, Luka Luka gets whatever he wants whenever he wants. Now, what you have to do with Luka is force Luka into tough shots. I think that's what it is more than anything. Luka isn't really comfortable going right, as he's not as comfortable going right as he is going left, because he's a lot more comfortable going left, because he's that kind of pull-up shooter he is. He's much more comfortable going left than he is going right. He goes right, but he's much more comfortable going left. In terms of being a downhill guy, there's really not much you can do with Luka when he gets in the paint. 6'7", 6'8". So if you can stay in front of him as much as you possibly can to keep him out of the paint, because Luka's not going to blow you away Luka's not going to blow you away by blowing past you or anything like that. So if you can stay in front of him as the superior ball handler that he is, and make him shoot tough shots on the perimeter, that's really all you can ask from. That's really all you can ask with Luka. Really all you can ask with Luka. But I'm gonna ask you guys, because I'm interested to know from you guys, who have you seen this year that you've been impressed with, that you could say, yo, I like what I'm seeing from this guy. I definitely like what I'm seeing from this guy. Oz, I'm not listening to nothing else that you're saying about Luka when you talk to me about Jason Tatum being one-dimensional. When Jason Tatum this season has put so much more in his game. So he's playing in the mid-range more. He's playing in the post more. So what I want you to do, sir, is take your fan hat off for a second. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you not to dig Luka. I'm asking you to take your fan hat off. Jason Tatum is not a one-dimensional player. When you say a one-dimensional player, that means that all he does is shoot the long ball. He doesn't score in the paint. He doesn't score in the mid-range. He doesn't score in transition. That's essentially what you're telling all of us when you say that he's a one-dimensional scorer. That's just not true, sir. Not. Now, I can dig how you feel about Luka, because I think Luka is a phenomenal one-on-one player. I think Luka is a phenomenal scorer. I will not argue that. But to say that Jason Tatum is a one-dimensional player, is one-dimensional, that's just not true. No, that's not true at all, sir. That's not true at all. I got a super chat here from Sir Darko. He said, last question from me. When we inevitably get to the NBA 100, do you think everyone who was on the NBA 75 list should stay or not? I don't think everybody from the top 50 list when we got to the top 75 should have still been on it. I think that there were some guys that were on the top 75. Pardon me. There were some guys that was on the top 75 list, that was on the original top 50 list. I don't think should have been on it. I think Alex English should have been a top 75 player. 100%, I believe that. I think that Dwight Howard could have very well been a top 75 player. I think that there are some guys on that original top 50 list that you can rotate out, because there have been some players in recent years, in the last 20, 25 years, who have been better. So I do think that they're going to have to keep the original top 50 list and say that over the last, 50 years, there haven't been players better than these 50 players. All 50 of these players, nobody has come along in the last 50 years that has been better. I just don't think that's true. That you can definitely rotate some of those guys. 100% you can do that. So Jose Garcia, thanks for the super chat, brother. He says, huge fan of you and the guys on the panel. You especially, because you've helped my basketball knowledge grow so much in every aspect. Hey, Jose, man, I'm trying, brother. I think that the thing a lot of people don't respect is they don't respect not knowing. And if you don't know something, it's okay to say you don't know, because I don't know everything, right? I don't proclaim to know everything. So when somebody gives me the knowledge, right? When somebody gives me the knowledge, I'm more than grateful. So, and I'm just paying it forward to people like you, Jose. That's all I'm doing. I'm giving it to you like somebody gave it to me. It's not. I don't think it's fair for me to hold on to something like that. I just don't think so. So, absolutely, brother. I do what I can, 100%. So, I got some people in the house that that want to talk. So let's get to it. Big, what up, brother? What's going on with you?
What's going on, Joe?
What
How
up?
you doing?
What up?
So I haven't watched a good chunk of the games. I've been, working and been a little sick. But from what I've seen, I will say one player out of like the few that have impressed me is definitely Wemby. And I'm not
Yep.
saying he impressed me because of his skill, but I believe he's the best hustle player in the league right now. Like if you really watch him,
Mm-hmm.
he really is someone that does not give up. And it's not like to say like, 'cause I feel like when you watch a game, a lot of dudes when they make a mistake, if you miss a shot, it's like, all right, well, let me just get back on defense. Like
Mm-hmm.
I messed up. But he's like, nah, like let me like he gives me like a Dennis Rodman and a Ralph Sampson body vibe. Like
I
he's
like
just
that.
like because he and then even when you watch him on defense,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like even when you watch him on transition, he has like a high IQ because there's a lot of plays where
Mm-hmm.
because he's so tall, he sees other things that you may not be able to see. Like I remember when the very first games against the Mavericks, he got mad at Vessel for not passing the ball up to him because he saw Jeremy Shohan coming down. He's like, all right, it's a 6'3" guard,
Mm-hmm.
but he sees certain things. So it's like, but I've never seen someone who is that tall but as quick
Yeah.
both laterally and someone who can just recover so well, even off his missed shot. He's so confident too.
I also when I think about guys like when like you just talked about effort, like effort is something you can't teach, brother.
Yeah,
Like
no,
I can't teach you to play hard,
nah,
right? You either have I could teach you skill set, I could teach you how to handle, right? I
yeah,
could teach you how to rebound, right? I can teach you how to shoot. I can teach you how to defend. I can't teach effort. You either have that or you don't. And when you got a guy that's that prominent, that's that big of a deal in Wemby, that has that, the other stuff should come, especially if the talent is there, right? It's one thing if you play hard and you don't really have the talent,
yeah.
that's something different. But Wemby actually has the talent, and I don't have to teach, and I don't have to like force that effort out of him. He already has that. I mean, that's a recipe for success right there, yo.
Oh yeah,
That's a
no, I
recipe for
think
success.
I think he's going to be someone that is going to terrorize the league, and he's going to be the one of the more annoying players. Not because he runs his mouth, but he's someone where he's going to drain you out of just pure hustle. He's like, you're not going to rest when you guard me. You're going to run every single play. And another
That's
player who
yeah.
I think truly is a starter on an NBA championship team, and I think will be a high defensive player of the year candidate in the near future is definitely Dillon Brooks.
Yeah.
I think that because we live in a time where the way he speaks takes away from the fact that you just don't want to watch him other than to see him get, 20 points dropped on him
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But if you really see him, like he is, man, and he's
Um,
playing, he's shooting 60%. I think he's averaging 17,
yeah.
something like that. Like I truly think if you put him on the Nuggets, Bucks, he's definitely a starter. No question. He's
Well,
definitely one of the best top five for a guy his tall, top five, top 10 perimeter defenders and even interior defenders. He's just,
well,
I think,
I'm not even thinking about him as a scorer more than I'm thinking about him all around as a player. I'm on record saying that, and I got roasted for this. Dillon Brooks is a starter on a playoff team.
oh no, 100%. I think he's a starter on the championship team. You put him on the
At
Nuggets.
minimum,
You
at
put him
minimum,
on
he
the
a
Nuggets.
starter.
I am starting him over Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter.
No,
One of them got to
I'm,
come
I'm not going that far. I'm not gonna.
out.
I'm not sure I'm starting him over Aaron Gordon. I'm not going to start him. I will say this though: we could have a conversation about starting him over MPJ and MPJ being a really good rotation player. We could have a conversation about that. However, I'm not starting him over Aaron Gordon. No, because
Yeah,
the value that Aaron Gordon brings as a big and the versatility he brings as a defender, watching the job that he did on Jimmy Butler, man, I need that on the floor. He 100% needs to be on the floor. But at minimum, at minimum, he's a starter on a playoff team. At minimum, there's nobody that could give me. Now, don't get me wrong. The antics, and the nonsense, that's going to deter your vision of what he actually brings.
Yeah.
That's going to throw you off from what he actually brings.
You only want to watch him get, beat down on instead of really saying, all right, let me see what his game is like.
Right.
But I got one more question now. I'll leave you be for the night. Obviously, you talked about some players that have impressed you. Do you have someone or a few who have disappointed you in terms of what you have expected? Like, is there a player
Yes.
of yours? Because my other two, you don't have to go into detail, but it's definitely Duran and Cade. I think they're going to be such a great pick and roll backcourt team, and if that Detroit team really gets picks and trades, man. But is there someone or a few who have disappointed you?
Two guys in particular. Number one is Evan Mobley. I expected Evan Mobley's offense to get better.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really seem like he's improving as much as I'd like to see him improve.
Yeah.
He doesn't really seem as confident on the perimeter. He doesn't seem as aggressive, asking for the basketball. His hands aren't what I thought that they would be.
Yeah.
Like I watched 2 nights ago. Who did they play? Not Indiana. Literally, I just saw them. The Warriors. They played the Warriors. I'm sorry. They played the Warriors. Darius Garland has 6 turnovers. 3 of them were to Evan Mobley dropping the ball out of bounds.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, big fella, he's putting you in position to score. Catch the basketball. Him and defensively, I don't have any issue with what he's doing defensively. I think arguably he's the best defensive player in the game. But him and the other guy, Jordan Poole, I expected a lot more out of Jordan Poole than what I was seeing. He actually got on a crew where he's going to be the man. He's going to be the primary focus in the offense. And with him being the primary focus in the offense, I expected more out of him. And I'm not getting that.
So, like,
I'm not.
In terms of like what the offense, playmaking, scoring, or
just scoring in particular, like he's averaging, I think he's averaging like 23 a game. And
you expected about 25, 27.
26, 27. The reason why I expected that, not because I thought that he could do that with the Warriors, but off the strip that the Washington Wizards are going to be a bad team this year.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to be a bad team this year. And he's the catalyst, not for them being bad, but for them being at least on some level competitive. Yeah. And he hasn't shown that so far. Yeah. So those are the 2 guys that when I think about in terms of disappointing, those definitely are the 2 guys. So.
Good night, man.
All right, Big. Out. What up?
Can you hear me?
You hot.
Hey, Chill. How's it going?
What's up, brother?
Pretty good. What did you think about that Celtics game?
I thought it was the game of the night, to be honest with you. Of the games that I saw, and of all the games that I watched a couple of those games last night, and of the games that I saw, I thought that Celtic game was the game of the night. I was really impressed with Minnesota. I'm not out on Minnesota. There's a lot of people who are out on Minnesota. I had Minnesota last season as a top 5 seed. Cat missed 54 games last year. So him and Rudy weren't able to get that continuity. But once they got back, there was a stretch last season where I think they were a game and a half out the 5 spot, like I expected them to be. And with that being said, this season, they got the number 1 rated defense in the league. Rudy, and I'm not a big. I know that we have to use defensive rating because that's per 100 possessions, I suppose.
What even is that? I never understood what defensive rating even was.
So defensive rating is what you do, what you allow per 100 possessions. You in particular, whether it's you individually or as a team. And the lower your defensive rating is, the better. I can get with that. On the other hand,
why not just watch the games and determine even
if watching the games was the staple, I care about who's giving up the most points. That's what I care about. And as of right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are giving up the least amount of points. Nobody's giving up.
They're undefeated at home.
They're giving up the least amount of points this season. I care about that. I care about that kind of stuff right there. I don't care that you 10th in the league in defensive rating when you 22nd in the league in points allowed. I care about that kind of stuff. So no,
I didn't like a few things in that game. Celtics fan, so I watched them. I didn't really like a few things. I didn't like how Joe didn't utilize all his timeouts and how he just took Tatum out in the third quarter. That I think that derailed the offense. That just destroyed the offensive flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't like Drew in that game. He looked to score more than pass the ball more. You know what I mean?
He's always been like that. Drew has never been a distributor like that. Drew is a 5-6 assist distributor. That's who he is.
He averaged 7 assists last season.
Yes, he did.
He's close to a double digits in assists. But I mean, if you're gonna shoot 3 for 16, I mean,
you got to get off the pill. You have to.
Yeah,
get off the pill.
I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna shoot 3 for 16, that's kind of an indication that maybe I should, make the extra pass, give it to Porzingis, who didn't get involved at all in the offense in overtime, at all. 2 points off of free throws is not enough. There are plenty of times where he was open on the 3-point shot and they didn't give him the ball.
Right.
There was a lot of ISO ball with Tatum, and he just reverted back to what he usually does, which is shoot threes a lot. That was mostly due to their defense.
Now, remember, even though Drew plays the point guard, he definitely is more of an off-ball player. He played the 2 in college. He came into the league also like that. When he was in New Orleans, he played alongside Rondo, right? So he played alongside Rondo. He played the 1 in Milwaukee, playing as the primary ball handler. Now he's doing the same thing in Boston, and that offense is configured where a lot of those guys, you could get those guys off. So he should be more of a passer in this particular situation, like he was in Milwaukee, considering that offense is. He should be more of that.
I'm pretty certain he averaged 8 assists for a while too. So I mean, it's not like he can't pass at an elite level.
Right.
I would just like to see him do it more now that he has Brown, Porzingis, and Tatum. I also think that we're missing Derek White a lot. Our second best perimeter defender has.
Why did he play yesterday? What was the problem? I
his
watched
son
the game.
Was just born.
I did know that. I did know he just had a baby. I wasn't sure if that's what. I wasn't sure if that's what it was though.
I didn't like that O'Shea didn't play. He sprained his thumb and didn't play the game. I didn't like that. You sprained your thumb and you're not going to play the game. Really?
Well, he probably couldn't. A sprained thumb is something serious. It's difficult
you can.
To play with a sprained
I have
thumb.
one more question for you, Chill. What did you think about Shaq's comment on, that we've seen someone like Wemby before in the form of Bol. What do you think about that comment of his?
I don't know about Bol, and I think that there's a connection between Shaq and Bol, but I have seen Wemby in the sense of the kind of athlete that he is. I haven't seen that kind of skill set. Because Wemby, again, he looks to me like Ralph Sampson with a better shot, with a better jump shot, and a better handle. That's what he looks like when I watch him. But I think that with Bol, I mean, Shaq has seen Bol. He basically, Bol grew up around Shaq and his son.
His son played in high school with him, right?
Right. So he's looking at Bol with that kind of skill set where he can handle it, where he can shoot it. Now
they had really similar stats in college in Oregon. They had really similar stats.
Yeah, but I think the difference.
When he was playing in France,
they played
really similarly.
But the difference with Wemby is that effort, though. Like when you think about the guys, when you think about a guy like Wemby, his effort is never questioned. Bol on the other hand, that's one of his main problems. His effort.
All the way back in college. That was the question. His motor. I think that Chill, you're gonna kill me for this. I think Bol could be as good as Wemby. I just think that talent is in there. He just doesn't work on anything to actually, what would you say, show off that talent. Right. You know what I mean?
You know what that means?
He has that talent though.
Right. And because that, the improvement isn't there, which means we'll never see it. For that reason, right there, what you just said. If the motor isn't there, if the talent is there, but he ain't working on it, then we'll never see it improve. It's never going to happen.
He played in Orlando. He did play. He played in Denver. He didn't get much of a choice. He didn't get much of an opportunity.
He wasn't going to get any run in Denver. Yeah. He wasn't going to get
anywhere. He goes to Orlando, right? And in the 35 games that he did play, when he started, he was 11. I think he was 12, 7, and almost 2.5 blocks. So there was improvement from Denver, but he reverted back to not improving on his game, which is why Orlando cut him. Now, playing behind someone like KD, I think if KD can get him into working on his game and trying to improve, because Kevin Durant is Bull's favorite player, I think he could be a really good rotation player.
Which is fair. Which is fair, but as long as that motor is what it is, right? As long as that motor is what it is, I don't think the improvement is ever going to be there. And as long as that's going to happen, we're never going to see the full potential of Bol. Even if the talent level is there, even if he is super nice with the pill, even if he can shoot the long ball, even if he can do all of this stuff, if that motor isn't there, if that desire to work on your game and get better, like Wemby, then we're never going to see it materialize.
It's unfortunate to see players like that have a lot of talent and they just don't work on their game.
That's a problem. So, all right, brother.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
Have a good one, Chill.
Yep. Elms, what up, brother?
What's going on, Chill? Long time listener, first time caller. I just want to talk about. I feel like everyone taking a shot at my Bucks. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking, all right, well, it's 4-2. We ain't looked the smoothest, but I feel like a lot of the hate is almost over exaggerated, especially in regards to the defense. Or the defensive hole that Drew Holiday left. Like, I noticed, there's growing pains with the coach because I know straight away he's kind of trying to play like we're Toronto, like force turnovers, press up, and I'm like that ain't really like our team ain't that skill set. When you look at the Toronto Raptors, most of them are like lanky 6'7" to like 6'11" guys running around. Their center is kind of undersized. So I'm like, that don't suit us. I feel like once we get the mixture of playing the drop with a bit more pressure, it'll work out. Right. And I think because I look at it like maybe is it the Dame, the excitement, the hoopla that Dame brought to the team that everyone's kind of like, oh, look, if Drew was here, would it be? I watched Drew Holiday play with us for 3 years. Last year we were the top 5 defense, but the 2 years before that we were mid-table defenses. We weren't top 5.
Well, if you let them tell it, the year y'all won the NBA championship, y'all were 10th in the league in defensive rating. When I remember that the Milwaukee Bucks were 22nd in the league in points allowed. That's in the bottom half of the league. I care about the defensive rating. I gotta start understanding it, and I'm supposed to care about it, even though I got a difficult time with it because Larry Bird got a lower defensive rating than Scottie Pippen, and ain't nobody gonna ever sell me that Larry Bird was a better defensive player than Scottie Pippen.
Exactly.
That's ever happening. But when I think about team defense, one of the things that I pay attention to the most is how many points per game are you giving up in conjunction with everybody else. In Milwaukee, the year that they won the NBA championship, they were 22nd in the league in points per game given up. Not points, not your defensive rating per 100 possessions. How many points a game were you giving up?
No, we were giving up a lot of points, especially a lot of 3-pointers. So I remember those days. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think people think I think the reason we got rid of Drew is nothing to do with his defense. Like he played good defense. Yeah, he got cooked by Jimmy. I really feel like the best every time we put Giannis on Jimmy is our best results. The year we put him on, we swept them straight out of it. But he's coming off an injury. Maybe they didn't want to.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I just watched. Y'all just played them a couple of days ago when y'all played.
Yeah, and Giannis guarded him
and shut the door on buckets.
Yeah. So I feel like that. Buckets. I'm not worried about Miami in the playoffs, to be honest. Like I feel like once Giannis, it's clear, and I think that might have been the reason Bud got fired because I think that issue there. But when I Drew Holiday, he gave me a lot of good memories as a Bucks fan. But I'll never forget how many times he let us down when we needed him. And what I'm talking about is when Middleton got hurt and we had the 7-game series against Boston. A lot of people say, "Oh, Giannis got tired game 7." Yeah, he probably did get tired. I think he broke the record for points, rebounds, and I don't know what he did, but I remember Drew had a lot of games, 4 for 16, 4 for 20, and then
couldn't make a layup.
It was bad. I get it. Your defense is good, but once you're shooting us out of games, the crazy part is when you compare his regular season stats to his postseason, it's like night and day. you got a 50-40 guy go and turn into like career worst numbers, and then it happened again. Giannis got hurt this time instead of Middleton. Middleton's numbers last year were actually pretty good in the playoffs. Drew, same thing again, 4 for 16. The amount of 4 for 20s I saw him do is like, I feel like the reason we got Dame is in case something like that happens again and we get close, you're not going to be a liability. Even if it is defensively, offensively, you're going to carry us over the hump with Dame Lillard, you know? So I'm not worried.
That game 6 against the Celtics when Giannis went 40 and 20, y'all supposed to win that game.
Yeah, we were.
That game and shut the door on Boston. That's an elimination game for Boston. You were supposed to win that game. Drew did not come with what he needed to come with in order for you guys to win. I mean, I think
even elimination games last year, no one wants to mention it. He missed a free throw. The game would have been sealed.
They had an opportunity to send that back.
He had 2 free throws and he missed one, and that's when they got the opportunity to throw. I was like, come on, like I'll never forget when he stole it from Booker. It was a game 5 in the finals.
Yep.
Like, I appreciate everything he ever done for us, but I know that I'm not gonna let people on the outside convince me, yeah, we're screwed without him, you know? Because I know
he did the same thing. Well, he did the same thing when y'all played against Boston in Game 5 in Boston with that steal on Marcus Smart and the turnover.
Yeah.
Game. He's done things like that. Yeah, he'll make big plays. He'll do things like that, but he'll also do things like shoot you out of games. He will.
Yeah. So that was like
he will do that. But the difference here is in Milwaukee, losing him and losing Grayson Allen, 2 of your best perimeter defenders. That's a big deal, yo, because that's your point of attack. I can appreciate your logic in him shooting you out of games. Dame will do that too.
Oh no, Dame will do that too.
Dame will do that too, and you also missing the defense from Dame. Dame, when I think about Dame, when I'm watching you guys a couple of nights ago against the Knicks, that defensive effort, the effort isn't. Oh my goodness, the effort is.
Did you see in the 4th quarter though when he got the steals? Like I see effort. That's all I care about. Like he's trying. I know we're gonna have to compensate for that. I think the main problem is not just playing him; it's playing him alongside Beasley. That's why I think we have major problems when there's 2 of them on the court. I feel like it's a matter of time before Marjon Beauchamp starts for us, and I think that's when it's like, all right, he can be the main point of attack.
I do like.
And I think we need him for the energy in transition. It can't be Giannis. Can't be the far up and like Giannis. And people like they're saying Giannis look bad. Giannis coming off a knee surgery. Like he barely had one. He had one preseason game. Go ahead.
I'm not even on Giannis in terms of his knee surgery because he still has that bounce. He still gets up and down the floor. He's still punching it. That's not the issue. The issue with Giannis is now he's got to get adjusted to playing with another ball-dominant guy. He's now has to share the offensive load. He didn't have to do that. Those guys played off of him.
No, yeah, I agree.
Middleton played off of him. Drew Holiday played off of him. Crowder played off of him. All of these dudes played off of him. That's not the case with Dame. Now these 2 dudes got to get adjusted to now playing off of each other. I mentioned this before. I had mentioned this before really quickly. I had mentioned this before where Giannis, a lot of the stuff when he got in transition, it wasn't somebody else getting him the basketball. Giannis is your best rebounder. So Giannis was cleaning glass, taking the ball off the glass, and going with it. That's where the adjustment with Dame has to come in because Dame is used to being in the outlet spot asking for the ball. Now Giannis has to do something different. So I think it's a little bit different when you're playing with a dude who is also a ball dominant guy. And now what we have to do is we got to learn how to play off of each other. That's an adjustment period now.
I think Middleton will help. Like, I don't know if you watched the game with the Nets the other day.
I did.
Just I don't know if you noticed the calmness when he's playmaking. Like he will like his screen and roll with Giannis is pretty solid. Mm-hmm. I feel like the more he plays in there, it'll be easier for Dame. Like there's not enough like I feel like there's a bit more pressure of like instant results. Like here's the ball, just go ahead. We need 30 points a night. I think when Middleton comes back and we start because I don't think would like I look at like if this is bad, I can't wait to see good because we are one game off the mighty Boston Celtics, and one lost more than.
I think that the Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks are the class of the Eastern Conference. I don't. For anybody that thinks differently right now, as good as Philadelphia is.
Well, no, watch out for Philly. Yeah, I'm telling you.
No, I'm good. And the reason,
no, I'm not even a Philly fan. I don't even like Philly. I swear to God, I don't. But I watched them play against us, and I noticed something straight away. I said, Nick Nurse, he is pushing the pace, and he's got like with Maxey, Oubre Jr., Harris. Now they got the other guys as well. Probably KJ Jr. will probably have an effect in it. They are pushing that ball fast off the like, as soon as they get the, they're going. They're not looking for Embiid. They're not wasting time. They're waiting for Embiid to catch up.
I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't.
I think it's gonna make them look a bit more like they're gonna be hard to deal with because once everything was being like I remember last season. Do you remember was it game 6 where Boston won in Philly's after Philly won in Celtics, Boston came and won in Philly's ground, right?
Yes.
There's a video. Donovan Mitchell was there on the side, and he's saying him and Jaylen Brown were talking after the game, and I think he said like, "How do you feel it's gonna go?" And Brown literally smiling ear to ear was like, "Oh no, we're good." This is before Game 7. He said, "We're good," and Embiid's tired. Like he said it in front of Donovan Mitchell to his face after Game 6. He said, "Embiid's tired."
Right.
So like the whole offense was so reliant on Embiid. I feel like now Nick Nurse is saying, if you can push it, go ahead. I don't even look for you because they're preparing for him, not for you. Go get it. So I feel like they're gonna be in trouble.
I'm out on Philly because of Embiid and because of injuries. That's why I'm out on Philly.
I would have
for that reason right there. I'm out on Philly until they show it to me. I'm out on Philly simply because of Joel Embiid. Because what I saw from him, like the 35 and 15 a couple of nights ago, and then last night he went for 48. I seen this already. I already know how good he is. So I seen that. That's not something that I'm like, wow. No, I already know that he can do that. I seen him put 59 on Utah last year around this time. I saw him put 48 on Denver around this time last year. So this is
and B's the same. I'm thinking it's the other guys are going to step up this year. I feel.
I just think that the fact that they gave the ball to Maxey, which I'm so happy about, because I wanted to do that last season. I wanted to let James Harden walk out the front door, and I wanted to give the ball to Maxey last year. I wanted to do that last year, but the fact that they've now done that, now, I just think that helps this team in the long run. It makes them faster. It makes them more athletic. It gives them a better playmaker on the perimeter. So because of that, I'm feeling Philly. I'm feeling him. Embiid, though, that's the reason why I can't get with them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right, brother.
Did you watch the game? Oh, sorry. Can I ask you one more question?
Yep.
Did you watch the game with the Wolves yesterday with Celtics?
I did. I thought that was the game of the night.
I'm gonna give you a little suggestion and I'm gonna leave you with this. I saw things in that game that made me smile. That's what as a Bucks fan. Their size is gonna the lack of depth the bigs they have is gonna be a big problem for them.
Well, I think that they're gonna end up moving some people. I do. I think that Boston they're gonna put something together at some point, whether it's before the trade deadline or at the trade line, to get them another dirty work guy, because they do need another big guy, dirty work guy more than anything. I don't think they need. I don't think they need a bunch of buckets. I just think they need another dirty work guy.
Yeah, just defense.
Guys, I'm trying to think of a guy that who am I thinking about? Remember the kid that used to play for Philadelphia, won the 6th Man of the Year?
Montrez.
Something like that. Not him, but something like that. If they can bag something like that, I think that they're in business. And I think that they can.
Yeah, they're gonna need some help.
They're gonna need something else. Because they got long ball shooters. I dig Pritchard. A lot of and I talk to these dudes on the panel all the time, and we go back and forth about Pritchard. And I think Pritchard is one of the best backup guards in the game. I love Pritchard.
Oh yeah, I
think he's one of the best backup guards in the game, and he brings a lot of value. He might not shoot it like you want, especially over these last couple of games. He hasn't been that efficient in terms of shooting, but he's not gonna kill you. That's the difference. He's not going to kill you. He's going to do stuff that's going to keep you in the game. He's going to make defensive plays. He's going to make big steals. He's going to do stuff like that. So I'm not worried about him. I love this kid Brissett, and he didn't play last night, but I love this kid Brissett on Boston. I don't love Hauser because Hauser kind of reminds me of Matt Bullard on Houston.
Yeah.
He's just a big long ball shooter. Like he don't do none of the other stuff. He doesn't rim protect.
But they're gonna need some protection because Timberwolves were targeting their bigs at the end of that game.
And not only was Minnesota targeting their bigs, we can't negate how big Minnesota is. They got
they got size. Yeah,
they got a lot of size. Jaden McDaniel 6'9", Nas Reed 6'9", Cat 6'10", Rudy 7 foot. They got a lot of size on their front line, a lot, and you exploit that when you playing against a team like Boston who doesn't have that, especially in their rotation. You exploit that.
Yeah,
that's what's making you smile. You looking at them like,
yeah,
we can do that. We could do that.
I'm like, who's fouling out when Giannis start collecting fouls on those bigs? That's what I was thinking.
There you go.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Talk to you, brother. Yep. Yeah. So, in conclusion with that conversation, I like what I'm seeing from. I like what I'm seeing from Minnesota. I'm not out on them. I'll be lying if I said I was, but I'm not out on them. I would say that I was out on them, but I'm not. Nope. I would not say I'm out on them. I think that with Cat playing, he hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong. Him and Rudy together. This is still a work in progress. But how good Anthony Edwards is, that perimeter defense from Jaden McDaniels, who I think is going to be we're going to have him. I love what I'm seeing from perimeter defensive guys. Him, Herb Jones, Alex Caruso. These guys are the revolution in terms of perimeter defenders. These are the guys that we're going to be talking about later on when we talked about Bruce Bowen and Meta World Peace, guys like that. When we talked about guys like that, that's how we're going to be talking about these dudes. Herb Jones, how we talked about Bruce Bowen, Meta World Peace, how we talked about Jaden McDaniels without the antics, right? Stuff like that. Alex Caruso. These perimeter defenders, these guys are the wave of the future. 100%. I am not on the fence about that. I am 100% confident that they are the wave of the future. No doubt about that. So I got another super chat here from Zen Master. I give you enough grief. So here's some weed money. I do appreciate you, Chilltown. I do not smoke weed. No, I don't. Even though I probably should. But I do not. I do not blow trees. No, I don't. I blew trees one time when I was in grammar school going to high school. I did it to impress a chick, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. So and not only did it not go the way I didn't think it was going to go, I just felt like this wasn't something that I should be doing. So I got off of it. I'm straight. I'm straight on that. So thank you though. I appreciate it though. 100%. I appreciate it. And to answer your question about JD has he even gotten any minutes in Boston? I haven't seen him at all. I haven't seen him at all in Boston. Is he even on the roster? What's going on with him this season? Has he even played? Has he played a game this year? I don't know what's going on with him. I'll be lying to you if I said I knew, because I don't know what's going on with him. I do not know what's going on with him. And what about OG Anunoby? OG Anunoby is no. I don't think that there's anybody that I don't think that there's anybody that looks at OG Anunoby like he can't play. So I'm trying to figure out what about OG Anunoby, Cleveland? What about him? I mean, he's basically giving me the same thing he was giving me last year. So, that's what that is. I got a call on line one. Hold on for a second. Breezy, what up?
I'm just
What up?
chilling, trying not to be the villain.
Yep.
Great episode earlier, man. Conversation. I seen the title of the show, and when I started this season, I said that Cam Thomas is going to jump from a 15-point jump. He averaged 10 points last season. Look for him to score 25 points per game this season. We looking like that's fitting to happen. So, what I will say is, to your take, Anthony Edwards did beat the Boston Celtics. So these are two players that I'm watching, because Anthony Edwards, because a lot of the hype around him, I thought he was one of the better players in FIBA, but I was watching FIBA because of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. But Anthony Edwards definitely stood out in that tournament. Right. So I got Cam Thomas and Anthony Edwards at top of the MIP list. If I'm asking you, who's your top 5 MIP that impressed you?
Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas, who you just said. And I had Anthony Edwards winning it, actually. I had Anthony Edwards winning it. Cam Thomas. Who else did I have? There was somebody else that I was thinking about that's in the Western Conference. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now, but there was some people. There was a couple of guys that I thought about in the Western Conference in particular that I was thinking about. It was 2 or 3 guys that I was thinking about earlier in the Western Conference in terms of MIP guys. But at the top of that list was Anthony Edwards. He was at the top of the list for me when I thought about when I thought about most improved players. Let's see.
Because I know your list be good, man. Yeah. Your list be good.
Those are the 2 guys. Those are the 2 guys that I'm thinking about off the top of my head. So
let me ask you, Chill. Do you think those guys?
Walker Kessler was another guy that I was thinking about. I remember I was thinking about Walker Kessler. Keegan Murray was another guy that I was thinking about. And who else was I thinking about? I was thinking about Evan Mobley too. I was. Even in addition to him being the defensive player of the year, I was also thinking about him being most improved. But I'm disappointed in Evan Mobley this year offensively. I ain't really getting what I thought I was going to get from him. I thought that I'd be closer to 20 a game this year than I am where he is. He's still around at 14, 15 a game guy.
So let me ask you, do you think right now Anthony Edwards and Cam Thomas is just head and shoulders above the rest of the competition as far as MIP?
If the season ended today, I think Cam Thomas wins it going away. I don't think it's close, to be honest with you. And as much as I dig Anthony Edwards as the MIP, we got a guy who went from 10 a game to 29 a game.
That's amazing, man. That's incredible. Like,
it doesn't matter if your team is good or not. We got a dude on the crew right now that went from averaging 10 a game to almost 30.
That's unheard of, man.
There is no question about it who the most improved is.
Let me ask you, because you watch more basketball than I ever did, and I'm asking, far as MIP jump. Has there ever been a jump this big from like 10 points to 29 points?
The only guy I can remember is Tracy McGrady in 2001. The year before that, I think he averaged 15 a game. He went from 15 to the next year. He was a full-time starter, and he averaged 27 a game.
Damn, that's a 12-point jump.
He went from 15 to averaging 27 a game. To be honest with you, the conversation was going around, is Tracy McGrady on the juice? For him to, my man, we talking about a dude in I think that was year 4.
Yeah.
He went from Shaq, Duncan, Iverson, Garnett, all of these great players in the league during this, Bryant, all of these great players in the league during this time. He went from a 15 a game guy to a first team All NBA guy in 1 year. We like, yo, who is this dude? Like, I knew he was nice. I didn't know he was that nice. Damn.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't know he was that nice.
I always like and another question I don't know, I'm asking you, when did they start following that stat, the MIP, the
most improved
player? Yeah,
that's a good question. I remember it as far back as I want to say
88, 89, something like that.
I don't think it was. I think it was a little bit. I think it was a little bit after that. I don't think that it was. I don't think it was that far back. I think it was a little a little bit further. I think it was a little more recent than that. Maybe in the early to mid 90s, because I don't remember most improved guys in the 80s.
Okay.
I do remember Six Man of the Year in the 80s, like guys like Paul Pressey and Detlef Schrempf. But most improved, I remember that in the 90s more than anything. I don't remember it in the 80s.
Chill. Is it too much to say that he's in the MVP race? I really wasn't saying that. I wasn't going that far to say that.
Right.
But I think he might be in the conversation if he keeps it up. I don't got him a clear cut how you say MVP. I don't have him a clear cut what is the when he got the most points in the league. I don't have him clearly doing that.
Right.
But I definitely got him head and shoulders above the rest as far as MIP. I got Anthony Edwards a strong 2. Definitely a strong 2, but I got Cam Thomas. I won't say edge him. I just got him above him. And one last question.
Yeah.
Yesterday, somebody on my panel said, and I don't know how true it is, so I'm asking, that Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges is the second best duo behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the Eastern Conference this year so far.
In the East.
Only in the East.
Right.
So
we're talking about backcourts. We ain't even talking about just 1-2 punches. We just talking about backcourts.
Are
we talking about 1-2 punches?
No, let's do 1-2 punches.
Because I don't know if they're a better 1-2 punch than the team that they just played with Milwaukee with Giannis and Dame. I'm not sure that they're a better 1-2 punch than those two dudes. I'm not
because
sure
of Giannis.
Yeah,
right?
because of Giannis. Simply because of Giannis. I don't think they're a better 1-2 punch than Maxey and Embiid. I'm not sure that they're a better 1-2 punch than what's going on in Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. I'm not sure about that. Boston, we already talked about Boston.
Yeah. What about top 5? Top 10, maybe? In the East, just the East, not the East and the West.
In the East, I think you can make a legit argument. Even if it's from what I'm seeing right now between those two dudes, even if they're not top 5, they're not that far off. I don't think they're that far off. Because when you think about the Knicks, Miami, I mean Bam and buckets, okay, I'll give you that. Brunson and Randall, the way that they've been playing as of recently, but I'll still give you the edge. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, Giannis and Dame, and Maxey, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. After that, I mean, we can have a conversation what's going on in Toronto. We can have a conversation with what's going on in Orlando. I think that they just as good in terms of bucket getters. Yeah. I'm not saying that Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are head and shoulders better than them two. As a duo, I ain't saying that. No, you're not gonna get me to say that. You're not. You're not gonna get me to say that. Absolutely not.
All right, so this yo, man, I appreciate you, Chill, man.
Yes, sir. You know where to find me at, brother. Be easy. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right, guys, it's about that time for me. It was dope to see y'all tonight. I will see you back here soon. I'm back in effect tomorrow night. Me and Big Ox are doing it. 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, and wherever else you are on Chill with Chill. I'll be back after that later on in the week to chop it up with you again. I think I read all my super chats. I think I got all you guys down. This is where you find me at. If I ain't here, then I'm on TikTok and I'm on the panel. I'm not really that difficult to find. But until then, take it light. But take it. Yes, sir. Good to see you guys. No doubt.